for us two, with you in the middle.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're just checking out my channel for the first time, welcome. My name is Aysha. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But today's video is a makeup tutorial. This is probably the most requested makeup tutorial on my channel ever in history. Like, guys, seriously, so many of you guys requested this, and I was so happy to film it for you guys. And please excuse my voice. I'm very, very sick, and you guys will see in the beginning of the next couple clips. I'm just a hot mess today, but I really wanted to make sure to record this for you guys because seriously, like, I've been getting so many requests. But I will be using the ZOEVA Cocoa Blend Palette, as well as all of the ZOEVA brushes. And this beauty right over here, guys, like, perfection. I love this palette so much, and I highly recommend it to anyone thinking of getting it. It is beautiful. If you guys enjoy this video, give it a like so I can feel a little bit better. But if you guys are interested in seeing this makeup look, then just keep on watching. So before I begin, I already mentioned this in the intro, but I am currently sick, so please excuse this situation over here. It's just the friction from me constantly blowing my nose, so it's really red and really irritated. But anyways, I'm going to take my ZOEVA Cocoa Blend Palette, and I'm going to be going in with Substitute for Love, which is this shade right over here. And I'm going to be taking that shade on a Morphe, this is the M505, and I'm going to be using that as a transition shade. And I want this shade to be really intense, so I'm just going to keep building up the color until it is pretty vibrant. The next shade I'm going to be going into is Freshly Toasted, which is this one right over here. Very similar to one of my favorite shades by Cocoa Bear. One of my favorite shades by MAKEUPGEEK called Cocoa Bear. And I'm going to be taking that on a ZOEVA 224 Luxe Define Crease Brush. This is probably my favorite brush out of the entire rose golden set. This brush does a really nice job at kind of fitting right into the crease over here, but it's just fluffy enough to make sure like the color isn't too intense. And then just to blend out that harsh line, I'm going to be taking that same Morphe brush that we used earlier and just sort of blend that out. Now, just to highlight my brow bone, I'm going to be taking the shade Bitter Start, which is just the lightest matte shade in the palette, and I'm going to be taking it just on a flat synthetic brush and highlight my brow bone. So next, for the exciting part, we're going to be going into the shade Warm Notes, which is this absolutely gorgeous sort of plummy pink metallic shade. And I'm going to be taking that on a ZOEVA 234 Luxe Smoky Shader brush. This would probably work better with a synthetic, like a flat synthetic brush, but I don't have one. But I'm going to be packing this all over the center and inner half of my lid, just avoiding the crease and the outer corner. And just to intensify the color a bit more, I'm going to be spraying my brush with a little Fix Plus. And I'm just going in with the Morphe M505 again, just to sort of blend out any harsh edges that may have formed in the crease. So now I'm just taking Americano by MAKEUPGEEK, and this is just a really deep, rich brown, and kind of deepening up that outer V a little more. And then I'm going back in with the ZOEVA Cocoa Blend Palette and going into Beans Are White, and I'm just kind of intensifying that deep brown outer corner. And then I already did this step, but I took In the Spotlight Foiled Eyeshadow by MAKEUPGEEK, and just on my pinky finger, I just kind of dabbed that right into the center of both my lids, kind of right where that eyeball is. And this is just going to kind of bring light to the middle and add a little more dimension into the look as well. And on a ZOEVA 317 Wind Liner brush, it's kind of like a synthetic, very, very thin brush. I'm going into the shade Beans Are White again, which is this very, very deep, cool toned brown shade. It's almost like a black, but not quite. And I'm just going to be doing a very, very soft line towards the base of my lashes. So we're going to take a break from the eyes, that's why I zoomed you guys out, and I'm just going to move on to the face. So for primer, I'm going to be mixing the Laura Mercier Radiance Foundation Primer as well as the NYX Angel Veil Primer. This is going to look really crazy at first because these can leave weird white casts, but once you blend it in and put foundation on top, it's completely gone, so don't worry about that. So I'm just gonna let that sink into my skin for a couple seconds, couple minutes, just because I don't like slapping on foundation or like color corrector as soon as I prime. I just feel like it needs to soak into the skin a bit more, so we're just gonna wait for that. And now I'm gonna go in and color correct using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Orange Corrector. And I'm just placing that on all the areas that need color correcting, basically any dull areas around my mouth, under the eyes, and any other dark acne spots or acne scars that I have, which isn't really too much. My biggest problem area is mostly around my mouth. And for foundation today, I'm using the Lancome Tintadol Ultra 24-Hour Makeup, and this one is in 460 Suede W, and I'm just using a damp beauty blender to blend all of that out. First, I just used my finger to kind of smear it all over my face and my forehead, but naturally I forgot to press record. But yeah, I'm just pouncing that into my skin. And then for concealer, I'm mixing a bit of the Maybelline Fit Me in 30 Cafe as well as the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Cool Tan. And then what's really important so that this sort of area blends really nicely with your foundation and concealer is to use the butt of your beauty blender and just blend out any of those harsh lines right over here. I'm also going to be taking the Cool Tan and just highlighting the bridge of my nose as well as the center of my forehead, and also just on the chin. And to contour the outer portions of my face, just to kind of, I don't know, bring more color back into it so it's not all washed out from the foundation, I'm going to be using the LA Pro Conceal in the shade Dark Cocoa, and I'm going to be placing that on my temples, kind of right over here as well, and then down on the sides. And I don't like contouring with cream just because I feel like it's a little too harsh, so I'm just going to leave it at my forehead like this, and then I'm going to blend that in with the butt of my beauty blender. And you can kind of take whatever is left over just to chisel out the cheekbones a little. I just don't like using this product directly on it because then I find it is way too harsh and it can look very, very muddy real quick. So using the leftover on the beauty blender just really helps. And to bake my under eyes, I'm going in with my Ben Nye banana powder and my the same beauty blender that I used earlier. So now I'm just brushing off all of that excess powder. And you can see how nice and highlighted it is now. But don't worry, it looks kind of crazy. Once we finish up the entire look, it'll look very nice and blended. And to chisel out the cheekbones a little more, I'm going to be taking MAKEUPGEEK's Complicated. This is their Cool Medium Contour Powder. And I'm just going to lightly chisel out my cheeks. Someone asked me what the difference between like a cool tone contour shade is and a warm tone contour shade is. Basically, when you want to chisel out the cheekbones, you want to use a cool toned shade, sort of like Complicated. If you're like my skin tone, Complicated by MAKEUPGEEK is very, very nice for that. And then a warmer contour shade, for example, This is a little darker, but this is Deal Breaker by MAKEUPGEEK. This one is more for bronzing and bringing color back into your skin. So you can pair these together. I often do that. I'm also going to be using that exact same shade to contour the sides of my nose. So now I'm going to zoom you guys back in so we can finish off the eyes. So the first thing I'm going to do is line my waterline with NYX's Black Brown eyeliner. You can kind of do this messily, doesn't really matter because we're going to be smudging out a deep brown in there as well. Okay, I'm gonna do this off camera because I literally can't do this without having the mirror this close to my face. Okay, so I already completed this eye, so I'm gonna show you guys how I did it on this side. So once you smudge out the eyeliner on your lower lash line and your waterline, you're gonna go into Substitute for Love again, which is this really nice brown shade. And I'm taking that on a ZOEVA 231 Luxe Petite crease brush. So it's kind of like it's not like super big, but it's kind of like a small sort of fluffy dome brush. And I'm going to be working that into my lower lash line. And I'm going to be smoking it pretty low. So next on the same brush, I'm taking the shade Freshly Toasted, which is right over here. And I'm going to be placing that sort of in the same area, keeping it a little bit closer to my lower lash line. And then for the really intense smoky lower lash line, I'm going to be switching brushes to this itty bitty little pencil brush. This is the 230 Luxe brush by, I was going to say Zoella, by ZOEVA. I'm going to be going back in with Americano, and I'm going to be smudging that right into my lower lash line. And I'm not bringing this shade down. And the lashes that I'll be using are the Ardell Wispies, round 2. Let's do this. I did it on camera, and it's perfect. I'm gonna go in with some mascara just to blend the falsies with my actual lashes. And then to hide the lash band, I'm going back in with that wing liner brush, and Beans Are White, which is this, it's a really strange name. But anyways, I'm going to just pat that over the glue. And as an inner corner highlight, I'm gonna be taking Becca's Champagne Pop, and I'm just gonna take that same small little pencil brush and just on my wrist wipe off any of the excess like dark powder. And I'm going to be highlighting my inner corner. I'm using the Be Matte blush by City Color in the shade Guava for blush. And I'm just using that on a dual fiber brush. This one's by Royal & Langnickel. This is a very soft pink, so it's not really going to take away from the eye look, but it's going to give a really nice wash of color on the cheeks. Before I add a powder highlight, I'm going to go in with the Sephora Radiant Luminizing Drops, and this one is in Ultralight Bronze. And I'm just dabbing that on the tops of my cheekbones with my Beauty Blender. And as a powder highlight, I'm going in with Champagne Pop by Becca, of course. Ooh, that's a little too much highlight. Can there really be too much highlight though? Serious question. Okay, to tone that a bit down, I'm going to be taking my Beauty Blender and just going atop the highlighter. And then finally for lips, I'm going to go in with none other than Chestnut by MAC. And I'm just going to line my lips with that. Then, now that I look like a chola, I'm going to take ColourPop's K Ultra Matte Lip Cream. And this is like the one that they collaborated with Karrueche on. I'm going to go ahead and change this ugly ass hat into a turban style scarf, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the completed look using the ZOEVA Cocoa Blend Palette. All in all, I am obsessed with this palette. It has absolutely gorgeous colors, and I highly recommend it for anyone that's interested. And before I get questions in the comments, I have a turban tutorial up on my channel already, so I'll have it linked down below if you guys are interested. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you're just checking out my channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that as well. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!